Something has shifted around Keith Urban, and those closest to him feel it just as deeply as the fans watching from afar. For decades, he was country music's steady heartbeat, dependable, polished, charming, and quietly resilient. Yet lately, subtle changes in his life, his behavior, and even his sense of self have sparked questions no one ever expected to ask about him. Keith Urban isn't unraveling, but he's no longer the man the world believed it knew either. The truth behind his evolution is far heavier than most imagined. A rise shaped by talent, pressure, and unresolved wounds, Keith Urban's transformation didn't begin in 2025, and it certainly didn't begin with headlines about his personal life. To understand where he stands now, the story has to rewind decades, long before fame, long before addictions that nearly destroyed him, long before Nicole Kidman stood at the edge of his darkness, offering a lifeline he wasn't sure he deserved. His bond with music began almost before he could remember, at just 4 years old, when his parents placed a ukulele in his hands. That small gesture quietly shaped the trajectory of his entire life. By 5, a Johnny Cash concert introduced him to the power of the stage, and in that single night, a vision was etched into his mind. He wanted a life built on performance no matter the cost. Growing up in Brisbane, Keith was surrounded by music and inspired by a father who loved country. By 7, he played guitar, and by 14, he was performing anywhere he could get a spotlight. At 15, he quit school to fully pursue music. Ambitious from the start, Keith faced early setbacks. At 9, a judge on Pot of Gold dismissed country music as mediocrity, but he clung to the one word of praise that called him a natural musician. Keith clung to the one positive word a judge had given him, intrinsically, meaning a natural musician, though the sting of rejection lingered. At 16, he tried again on New Faces, but fell short once more. The pressure to prove himself was already part of his identity. By 1991, he released his first Australian album and moved to Nashville in 1992, a gamble that would one day make him a global star. Early Nashville was harsh. Sleeping in a battered van with his band, The Ranch, playing to tiny audiences, Keith faced disappointment, isolation, and a cold industry. The band dissolved in 1997, and he encountered cocaine. Relapse followed, even as he rose in the early 2000s as one of country music's brightest stars. Albums climbed the charts, songwriting matured, and the industry embraced him. But the battle never fully ended. His 1998 rehab stay had paused the cycle, not healed it. Addiction, pressure, loneliness, and childhood insecurities still shadowed him. Everything shifted in 2005 when he met Nicole Kidman at the G-Day USA Gala in Los Angeles. Their connection was instant. She was one of the world's most famous actresses. He was the Australian country star redefining the genre. They married in June 2006, and for Keith, it felt like a fresh start. But addiction doesn't disappear with love. Just 4 months into their marriage, Keith relapsed. Drinking escalated, cocaine returned, and the truth became impossible to hide. Nicole recognized the signs and intervened, gathering those he trusted and delivering a moment of love with urgency. In October 2006, Keith entered the Betty Ford Center, stepping away from fame to confront himself. He emerged in January 2007 sober, humbled, and committed to total honesty. That recovery marked the most disciplined chapter of his life. Sobriety became his foundation, reshaping his relationships and his art. Albums released after 2007 reflected a man rebuilding from the inside out, blending country with pop, rock, and electronic influences while growing more personal and reflective with each release. Keith's transformation went beyond music. As a coach on The Voice Australia and American Idol, he revealed a rare mentorship, thoughtful, compassionate, grounded in experience, becoming the steady presence contestants trusted, returning again in 2023. Yet stability was never guaranteed. Though sober, Keith still carried the weight of fame, family, and expectation. He poured himself into work, tours, and a Las Vegas residency, moving constantly as if stillness might undo him. By 2025, his disciplined physique and weathered face reflected both resilience and strain. Behind the success, personal fractures and public questions signaled a new unraveling, not from addiction, but from decades of pressure, expectation, and constant visibility. Keith faced a crisis of transformation and emotional distance, one even he struggled to understand. The first signs were subtle: shifts in tone, tension in interviews, decisions that shocked longtime insiders. In January 2025, multiple outlets reported that Keith abruptly dismissed several longtime band members, some of whom had played beside him for over 25 years. The move came without warning or explanation, a sharp departure from the professionalism he was known for. For many, it was the first clear signal that something had changed. Then came the marriage. For nearly 2 decades, Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman had been seen as one of Hollywood's strongest partnerships. They raised 2 daughters, supported each other's careers, and survived addiction and relentless scrutiny. But in 2025, the marriage ended. Reports suggested the split was one-sided. Nicole wanted to work through it. Keith wanted out. After 19 years, the relationship that once helped save him dissolved quietly, without joint statements or public explanation. Silence replaced transparency, leaving fans unsettled. Around 2025, Keith began altering lyrics during performances, even on songs for Nicole, deliberate, darker, and emotionally distant. Fans sensed something had shifted. It wasn't addiction or ego. It was exhaustion from decades of holding everything together. Fame had always been a double-edged sword, and constant visibility made privacy feel impossible. The 2013 incident when Nicole was knocked down by a paparazzo marked a turning point. Keith became sharper, more guarded, cutting off intrusive questions, like abruptly ending a radio interview about Nicole's film scenes. He stayed controlled and protective of his family, but internal pressures mounted. Vegas residencies, massive tours, TV roles, and non-stop work kept him in motion, leaving little room to rest. To the public, he seemed tireless, but by 2025, friends saw withdrawal, impatience, and impulsive decisions. Firing longtime band members was more than business. It was a sign of deeper unrest and a need for control. Keith had spent decades rebuilding himself, protecting his marriage, raising children, and navigating a career defined by extremes. He became a symbol of resilience, transformation, survival. But resilience has limits. Stability has limits. Even healing has limits. And for Keith Urban, 2025 marked a turning point unlike any he had faced before. His transformation remains complex, emotional, and unfinished. And as fans continue to watch closely, the question remains: which version of Keith Urban emerges next? What do you think was the biggest turning point in his story? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.